Hello, guys. I hope you had a very good rest. I did indeed. Had a good, relaxed week without any pressures. So I hope you did too. And now we're going to work with all our strength. Okay? Today we're going to learn about replacing linking adverbial with adverb clauses and prepositional phrases. As you know, titles sound very complicated. This is not. As long as you learn the words that we use as linking adverbials, you are going to understand all the topic. The table of contents is the list of the linking adverbials. And here I wrote them with a small explanation. We have however and is used to make contrast between one thing and the second option. Okay? I will give you examples at the end. Then we have on the contrary. This is also to use or to make contrast with a second option. Okay? Then we have nevertheless. Is used also to make contrast, the same as however, but nevertheless is more formal. The same meaning, more formal. Then we have similarly. The word says it all. It's in a similar way, almost the same. Okay? Next one is in comparison. Obviously, this is going to be to compare one thing with another thing. Okay? Instead is used to substitute one thing with another. So here we have used to say that one thing is done or that one thing or person is chosen when another is not. Okay? So one thing instead of the other thing, in the place of the other thing. Okay? Next one, we have alternatively. Alternatively is when we use this thing and this thing at the same time. It's a choice between two things. Okay? Then we have on the other hand. It is used in a second sentence and is used to contradict something that you said in the first sentence. It can be placed at the beginning of the second sentence or in the middle. It doesn't matter. Okay? Then we have along the same lines. It is common to use this phrase when comparing or discussing two different things. Okay? The next one is in the same way. When we are going to refer to one thing as another thing in the same line. Okay? The other one is rather. Rather, it is like having another option, but you prefer this option than the other. Then we use I'd rather do this than this. It's a preference, okay? The next one is nonetheless. Nonetheless is using the word between two phrases to show contrast, the opposite, on the two thoughts. Okay? Then we have in a similar vein. It means in the same way. Okay? It's just a formal expression. Okay? Next one is accordingly. Accordingly is defined as to be done a way that is fitting and proper or in alignment with something. I do this accordingly to this. Okay? The next one is besides. Uh, besides is followed by a verb. That verb must be in the ing form, like adding an option. I do this besides doing this as an extra. Okay? Then we have consequently. It means as a result. That is. Next one we have finally. That is to give a closure, an end to something. Okay? You are going to give like a final opinion. Then we have furthermore. Furthermore is to add more information in your sentence, and it is used in a formal way. Okay? Then we have hence. Hence is typically used in a sentence to show a cause and effect relationship between two parts of a sentence. Then we have namely. Namely is, or that is to say. Okay? Then we have thus. Thus, in place of words like therefore or so, when you want to sound proper or fancy. Oh, yes. And here we have some sentences. Okay. With however, I liked my lunch. However, it was too expensive. So you see that the comparison between the two things. Then we have, he seems cheery, but on the contrary, he is sad. Okay? So we see a contrast. Next one is, he was very tired. Nevertheless, he went on walking. So, he felt this way, but he did this way. Nevertheless, he did. Number 4, with similarly. Remember I told you it's in the same line, okay? The first letter she wrote me was less than a page long, and her second letter was similarly brief. You are saying it was almost the same size. Next one. Today we tend to see islands as backward places in comparison to the mainland. So we are comparing one thing with the other, okay? Next one is holidays in Italy are too expensive. Instead, we're going to Greece. So it means that it's going to be less expensive. Next one. Get real, I say, and properly punish these people, or alternatively disqualify them for driving if they can't pay. That means alternatively you are given an option. Either they pay or they don't drive. They have a different option. Okay? Next one. I want to go to the party, but on the other hand, I ought to be studying. That means that even if I want to do this, I have something more important to do. So, on the other hand, I have to. Next one is I really liked the cake we had at your birthday party. I want to get something along similar lines for mine. So you are just saying you want the same or very similar. Okay? Next one. People don't look after other people's property in the same way as they look after their own. Okay? So it means, in the sentence means, that I am not going to be, or people in general, are not very careful about others' things than their things. Okay? So, in the same way, it's not going to be. Next one. Thanks, but I'd rather go along. As I told you, rather is a preference. So I prefer to go alone. I'd rather go alone. Next one. I ate something here. In his beloved Italy, his etchings are suffused with a classicism that nonetheless appeals to a contemporary aesthetic. So it means that even though something here, you have something else. The next one, the cat sat on the mat. In a similar way, the frog sat on the log. So we're saying the same. Here this was sitting and here this was sitting. So, in a similar way. Next one. Susan is an intern and she is paid accordingly. So it means that the same, remember we are comparing, she is here and she receives this. Okay? Next one. I really want to go to the party. And besides, it is close to my house. Like saying this besides is like an extra advantage of. Okay? The next one is the price on real estate has gone up. Consequently, people have to move outside the city. Why? This is too expensive now. So we have to choose another option. In consequence, we are going to choose something different. Okay? Then we have after